A couple years ago I realized what it was I was looking for in a good video game. The action and adventure of controlling a character, while totally awesome, is not what keeps me drooling for more. The driving force is watching my character progress through a story. A large portion of my life, starting 15 years ago, has been spent following the characters of the famous franchise Warcraft. I remember finishing the second game, and wondering, where did it all go from here? Imagine my excitement when Blizzard, the company behind the series, announced the release of the third title, Reign of Chaos. Having saved my allowance for this moment, I ran to the store to pick up my copy. Upon opening it, to my surprise, out popped a novel. The ongoing story still fresh in my mind. Even my younger self needed to be immersed in every facet of the story. Even through this alternative medium, I approached it with the same excitement and felt like it was necessary to complete before starting the new game. I think this was the moment I realized just how important a story is to a great video game. Nowadays, the series has evolved across 10 video games, 25 novels, countless graphic novels, fan fiction, and blogs and forums dedicated to the discussion of these characters and the greater storyline. Although I do consider myself a Warcraft freak, the universe itself has expanded to such a state that knowledge of the full scope is rare and highly revered.
And I noticed something. It said that Falstad Wildhammer was going to be on the Council of Three Hammers, but in the beta it's Kurdran Wildhammer, and Falstad is not in the game at all. What happened to him?
Isn't Falstad dead? From Day of the Dragon? No?
No, he survived, and in fact, he was the leader of Airy Peak in Vanilla WoW through Wrath of the Lich King.
Right, of course. Right. Yeah, Alex, what's up with that?
Thanks for pointing that out. We're going to get that fixed.
So Warcraft is some kind of phenomenon, right? Absolutely not. In fact, video games almost died in 1983. The early beeps and boops, although fascinating to audiences, were not enough to hold interest. The saving grace came with the introduction of the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES, which attempted something that had never been tried before, a storyline. Games such as Castlevania and Ninja Gaiden gave us characters to root for, relate to, and even follow. Let's face it, these were the Dark Ages. But they spawned a new type of video game, and it is this design that modern games have evolved from. Gone are the days of simplicity. Seriously, how'd that make the final cut? Now, games are equipped with a professional writing staff and contain higher levels of depth, character building, and their own unique voice.
Life was good. Sun setting on a sweet summer's day, the smell of freshly mowed lawns, the sounds of children playing, a house across the river on the Jersey side, beautiful wife and a baby girl. The American dream come true.
Maybe it is important to first decide what makes a good book. Is it a riveting plotline? Insight on modern society? Stylized penmanship? Evoking emotion from the audience? Edward? My roommate? As a lifelong gamer, I can honestly say that these elements are required and present in a good video game. Am I missing the part where good storytelling needs to be black ink on paper? If that's the case, where does the ebook fit in? I'm getting ahead of myself. In 2010, a game was released entitled Inferno, which stemmed entirely from Dante's epic, The Divine Comedy. This isn't the first case a video game has spawned directly from literature. American McGee's Alice was a stylized reimagining of the Lewis Carroll classic, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, as well as Exodus, Journey to the Promised Land, for the NES. Well, maybe that one is a bit of a stretch, but this is just naming a few that I've enjoyed. This direct link between literature and video games has, more recently, reciprocated its influence on titles such as the Scott Pilgrim series and 39 Clues, a web-based game-slash-novel series hybrid. So where's my Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde video game? Oh wait, they did that. And it sucked. Anyways, before this recent influx of literature and video games had found the mainstream, Sword Quest was a game which required critical thinking between an active participation in both the game and a comic book supplied alongside it. Oh, and did I mention it had $50,000 in prizes? Who doesn't want a gold chalice? Playing these sorts of games inspires players to pick up the source material in order to get more out of the game. On top of games based off of literary fiction, games such as Call of Duty and Sid Meier's Civilization derive their storylines from specific historical events and figures. Players of Call of Duty are commonly mocked for their obsession, but I do not doubt that their knowledge of weapons, troops, and military history stemming from the interest in this franchise can keep up with the Tom Clancy reader. So I'm wondering why video games haven't been accepted by the older generations. Well, most of the discussion takes place online. Countless forums and blogs exist with the sole purpose of connecting a community of gamers with each other. This community, like any book club, is exclusive to members with common interests. I think we need to understand that these two industries must work together in order to captivate and inspire an audience looking for the same thing. Much like there is a book written for everyone, there is a video game created for everyone.